do foam rolling to release our hips. So our hips are one of the most flexible joints of the body, and there's over 20 different muscles that run through the hip and the thigh. And the hips provide stability, movement, and flexibility, strength through our hip and into our thigh bones. Typically, a lot of my clients have very tight hips, especially as we get older and maybe are not moving as much, or we just have bad patterns where we overuse our hip flexors is very common. So this little workout is going to really help release your hips. We often are stretching the front, but I like this foam rolling routine because it really just gets deep into the back of the hip muscles, which sometimes I think we don't pay as much attention to. So we're gonna just start, and you can use a full foam roller or a little half one like I have. And we're just gonna start rolling down onto our backs. You're gonna just press into your feet, lift your hips up, and you wanna get the foam roller comfortably on your back, meaning that it should be at your sacrum, which is that bony triangle in the back of your pelvis. So it shouldn't really hurt, although the foam roller can hurt some people if you're sensitive. But basically it should feel fairly comfortable, and you should feel supported at the bone and not sort of hanging on, arching your back too much. So you can have the back of the two hip bones down to your tailbone, sort of pressing down into the foam roller. Keep your knees as parallel as you can and your feet down, and then I just want you to rock your hips from right to left, and you're just going to start to feel a little stretching and a little working out through the back of your hips and your low back, even out to the corners. Yeah, and then now we're just going to add, so you're going to take deep breaths when you do this. You also just want to try to think about pulling your ribs together as you're breathing, as we always do in Pilates. We're going to add the thigh a little bit, so we're going to twist the hips to the left. You're going to let this right knee drop down towards the floor as you let your left knee externally rotate. So you really want to try to get through this, that sort of the IT band and this TFL, which gets very tight on a lot of my clients. And then I also can feel this down sometimes in the inside of the knee, which can also get tight. We'll bring both knees up, and then we're going to stretch over to the right. So as you tilt your hips to the right, your right leg externally rotates and your left leg internally rotates. Our legs should be able to turn in and turn out. So we're going to just do sort of a windshield wiper movement with the thigh bones, and you're going to think about the thigh turning in and then turning out, alternating your thighs. And I like to do this on my tippy toes. It's just easier for me to move my thighs. Some of my clients have no mobility, and it's very difficult for them to even turn the leg in or out. So that's what we work a lot with on Pilates, is stabilizing the pelvis, and then this movement becomes better, right? We want to always be moving through the hip, moving the leg in the hip joint. It releases fluid into the joint, and it makes us more mobile. And two more, and then one more. Now you're going to walk your feet together. Make sure, again, the foam roller is just comfortably on your low back. And then we're going to bring our right leg up to tabletop and our left leg to meet it. Your hands are wide with the palms facing down, and we're knitting our ribs together. And then we're just going to take the knees from right to left. So here you want to make sure that your legs are not pushing out away from you too much, because that could be tough on the low back, or they're not too far in where you're not using your lower abdomen. So you should feel like your tailbone is lengthening down. There's work in the lower abdomen, there's work in the upper abdomen if we knit our ribs together. And then we just feel a big stretch across the low back. And then as you're going to the side, you also feel your glute, which gets very tight on most of us. And then this time we're going to go to the right, and you're going to stay there. So again, you should feel your glute. We're going to take our knees and we're going to circle them clockwise. So do this about 6 times, and notice my knees are coming in towards my chest and they're staying soft. You don't want your legs to be out here and doing it out here. You're just causing more tension. And we're just trying to open up the glute. And then reverse your circle. So we'll go counterclockwise, and you're just gonna think of the knees being soft instead of coming in. We wanna use the weight of the thigh to help us get a stretch. And one more. Glue the inner thighs together, press the hands down, use your abdomen, come back to the center, and then you'll twist over to the left. Now you're just gonna notice which side feels tighter for you, and it can be different on different days. So we're pulling the knees in, and then we're going clockwise. Today, my left hip feels a bit tighter than my right. And then I'm gonna stop and I'll reverse, and we'll bring the circles around. Again, the weight of the thigh bones pushing down into the hip. Good, and then one more. Pull the inner thighs together, come back to the center, and then we'll just do 3 little side to side, just to feel like we're nice and even. So you wanna check your hips and make sure that they're nice and even. We're gonna go into a little ab workout here, so you pull the ribs in, we inhale, we send both legs away, and then in. Inhale out, and exhale in. So as you go out, you should feel lower belly to upper belly working, and knees stay nice and soft. And 2 more, out, feel lower belly, and in, and then 1 more. Good, we'll come in. We're gonna take this right knee to our chest and stretch our left leg all the way down. So we wanna pull our knee into our chest, and here often I'll see in my clients the left leg will be very bent and they can hardly get it down because their hip flexor is so tight. So you're really looking to try to pull up on your left quadricep, stretch down through your left hamstring, and even point your foot and really try to stretch your leg all the way down, getting it nice and long. Deep breath here, inhaling and exhaling. Now turn out the right leg, hold the back of your right thigh, flex your foot and stretch it out. And you're just gonna work your right hamstring here, stretching. And 2 more, and we're all the while still pressing down into this left hamstring, and I can feel my left hip stretching as well. And then 1 more. Bring the knee back. Keep your right foot on your left leg. Straightening out through this left leg again, and we're gonna just go through an IT band stretch. So we bring the leg across, and we're just trying to stretch our IT band. Inhale and exhale. Nice deep breath. Still knitting your ribs together. Now you're gonna extend your right leg out, and then we're gonna do a little bit of a rocking motion. You're gonna try to tap your right toe to the floor, and then we're gonna rock the hips from side to side. So that not only is still stretching out your IT band, but then now we're getting that underside, that left hip again. And I really like to rock this way to open up my lower back and my hips. And 1 more. Good, bend the knee, bring it back to the center. I like to just straighten my hips out after I rock, send my right leg down, and then hug your left knee into your chest. Again, you want to really try to straighten this right leg out, and we're just really getting the hip flexor into our psoas and even our TFL as this outer hip area. If you're very tight there and your knee tends to turn out on its own, try to turn it in a little bit here, and then straighten this right knee as much as you can, really stretching your hamstring towards the floor, and then pulling your left knee in as much as you can. And then 1 more deep breath, knitting the ribs together. You're gonna place your left foot on your right knee, stretching out through that right leg, and we just pull the knee over, the left hand is down, and we're just looking to get the outer thigh, left outer thigh, or the IT band. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale, and 1 more. Now straighten out your left leg, and we're gonna just do a rocking motion. And you're going to try to touch the floor with your left foot. Now a lot of my clients can't do this, so if it's hard for you, that's okay. You just wanna keep stretching. We wanna rock side to side, and we get that underside right hip also. So we're getting the top and then the bottom. 2 more, and then 1 more. Now swing your left leg down, and then you're gonna bend your knees a little bit. Dig your heels down into the floor so you're stabilizing. And then right here, we're gonna just rock our hips from side to side again. Inhaling and exhaling. You just want to work out the hips. You can feel any area that's tight. It's typically this left side of my hip. My left hip will be tight. This always helps my hips feel a little bit more even, right? So our hips can get hiked up to the side. They can pivot forward. And this workout just kind of gets them nice and loose. And then one more here, going side to side. Good, now walk your feet back. Inhale, take a breath. Exhale, squeeze your glutes, lift up. And then we're going to lower all the way down. Hugging both knees into your chest. And then you're going to rock from side to side here. Inhaling and exhaling. Grab the backs of your thighs, tuck your chin, roll up. And then we're just going to take the foam roller to the side. So we're going to work right on that right side, and we're just going to rock back and forth at the insertion. A lot of the hip muscles are just inserted right here. Instead of quickly attacking the IT band, which a lot of people do, you really want to work at this top hip area where all the muscles sort of cross. And then we're just going to rock forward and back. So we just want to sort of get the fibers in the opposite direction that they're running. So if they're running north to south, we want to stretch them a little bit east to west. And just if you feel any tight area, you want to sort of just hold there and just put some pressure down there. And then one more breath. I'm going to have you just flip over onto your stomach. Walk your hands out on your forearms, and then we're going to roll up and down the quadricep. So here, this feels really great. We typically neglect, and just move forward. We can neglect our quads as far as stretching them out and working them out, and this feels really good because they typically are so tight, especially if we sit too much. And then you're going to turn your thighs out, point your feet, and then again roll up and down your thigh. So try to go all the way to the top of the hip and then all the way down. And now you're going to turn your thighs in, and then you'll roll up and down. This you'll feel in your outer thighs a bit more. Feels amazing. Deep breath, inhaling and exhaling. And we sneak in a little bit of arm work and ab work here. And then one more. Good, now we'll come up, and we still just have to get our left hip right at the insertion. So you're just going to sit on your left hip, cross this front leg in front, and we just roll up and down on this hip area. Sometimes if your glutes are really tight, you can lean backwards, or if you feel like the front of your hip, you lean forward. So we're all different. You just have to find your really tight spot and try to work it out with the foam roller. And inhaling and exhaling. Now let's rock the hips again from east to west. Just getting out any knots or any tight areas that we feel. Inhaling and exhaling. And then one more breath. Good, and then we're just gonna come onto our stomach. And then we're gonna end with a little bit of swan on the foam. So you're gonna turn your legs out. Again, you wanna kind of feel that both of your hip bones and your pubic bone are just sort of gently floating off of the floor, and that they stay even. My forearms should be, or the middle of my forearm should be on the foam. You're gonna look at the floor, and then on your inhale, you're gonna lift your chin. You'll pull your arms into your back, and then you're gonna lift all the way up. And then exhaling it down. Inhale, I lift my chin. I feel my arms into my sockets, and then I press down to lift up. So here we just want to relax the glutes and the legs and just try to stretch the front belly and down. Inhale, I lift my chin, roll my shoulders open, reach up, and then I go down. And then one more inhale, lift up, chest up, stretch out of my legs, and then exhale to roll down. Good, you're gonna press back. Good, you're gonna come up. And that is your hip workout or hip release. So if you're very tight in your hips and you feel like they're uneven or move forward, I'd recommend that you try to do this little workout daily, and you should see a big difference in your hips. I know that my clients always feel a big difference when we do this. Thanks. If you like the video, please click like and subscribe to my channel.